Hello and welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Diane Dayton. Today we're going to talk about following your dreams, what it takes, and the benefits of doing that. With us right now we have event planner Donald Blyler. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now, you weren't always an event planner, and there was a story that goes along with this, and a whole change of life. Now, you are a native of central Pennsylvania, and you also went to Elizabethtown College, and you had your degree in what, Donald?
Business administration with a concentration in marketing.
Okay. All right, so you decided that's what you were going to do. Why did you decide that at the moment?
It was something, you know, I enjoyed the advertising, I enjoyed the creative side of it, and I just seemed to gravitate towards the business end. So.
Okay. All right, so after you did that, you ended up for a large stint in D.C.
Yeah, I went to Washington, D.C. after college, and I accepted a job with an area nonprofit down there, which, much to the dismay of my parents, after they paid for college, I went down there and worked in their development department. It seemed consistently that I was working on their special events team. So I really believe that I grew out of that experience.
Okay. You worked with some pretty big names when you were down there, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I was not the team leader. However, I did work on events with Mikhail Baryshnikov, Alvin Ailey's dance project. Barbara Streisand did a concert for us, and Della Reese did a concert.
Wow, that had to be very cool to be in that environment.
It was amazing. It was very empowering. The people that I worked with, I believe, you know, really helped to shape me into the person that I am.
Okay. Now, you were there how long?
I was there about 8 years.
Okay. What happened during that 8 years and started to churn this change?
Well, you know, it goes as far back even into college. When I decided to do event planning full-time or for real, as I say, I said some things to friends and they were all like, oh my gosh, of course you would do that. I mean, don't you remember that, what you did in college or the party there or the junior senior, which being involved at Elizabethtown, the juniors planned the junior senior for the seniors, which was pretty much their prom. So I was responsible for that and created a pretty special event for the seniors. When I got to DC, again, you know, I was working in the nonprofit world and, you know, had a lot of different experiences where I was dealing with different cultures and also in terms of how you handle politicians, how, you know, what order they go in. If you have a senator, a congressman, and a mayor, you know, who goes first, who does what. So that really kind of helped me to build the foundation of my organizational ability. Mm-hmm. So I was, you know, I was doing special events down there. I was also working in other aspects of development. Ultimately, at the time, I thought I was working towards business administration, that I was in a way using my degree, although I was really doing more that is building what I'm doing now.
Okay, all right. But you also, there were some issues health-wise.
Well, that actually was when I was here in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, I came back and I accepted a job with a small advertising agency, and I was with them for over 10 years, had a really, I mean, a great experience. And within the last couple of years, every time I would go get a physical, my doctor would say, oh, you know, Don, you got to change things, you got to start exercising, you got to do this. You have high blood pressure. And I, you know, didn't really change anything in terms of making myself healthier. But as the economy, with the recession and everything, mm-hmm. as that seemed to really take hold, that was the point or the catalyst of what made me go into special events planning. And again, I say for real, but full time.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And it's oddly enough, after I made the conscious decision to do that, I had a physical, and my family doctor said, well, what did you do differently? And I said, and I thought he was being sarcastic because he's going to tell me, oh, and I didn't do anything. Well, are you working out? No. Are you running? No. Did you change your eating habits? No. And he goes, well, you did something different in the last couple of months because your blood pressure is perfect. And it was like, you know what? I did do something different. I made the decision to change what I was doing every day. And that is what brought me here.
Wow, Now, when you say that, that is really a huge point. What the only difference that you did was you got out some of that stress in that environment and you started following literally your heart's desire and your dream.
Right. What I did was, even though I was still working in advertising, I did decide to put my hat in the ring for event planning, and I believe it was just the action of making a conscious decision and really putting my heart into it is what changed things.
Yeah. And it's been going well for you so far,
It's been going very well
hasn't
for
it?
me. Thank you.
You did a wonderful launch party that even during the floods, you had what, 350 people come to?
Yes.
Briefly tell me about that.
Well, the launch, as I got into promoting myself and trying to figure out, how I would get the word out about what I do, I came to realize that really what I'm selling is me. I am my own brand. And I was talking to friends and I was talking to co-workers and associates, and I said, well, if you haven't been to an event that I've done, how would you know that I do great events? And they said, well, we would hopefully have been to one of your events, and after that we'll know you do great events. And it just got me to thinking that, okay, that's what I need to do then. I need to throw a really great event. And I started planning it, probably about the beginning of the year, so there were 9 months of planning into it. I created partnerships with many organizations and businesses in the area, and partnered with people that I believe to truly be the best in the industry of what they do. So the launch party came to be, and we had floods that day, had horrible weather. I was going to have about 400 people prior to the floods. A couple of county commissioners were supposed to be there, a senator, and Mayor Gray, and then the floods happened, and it seemed that all the people coming from outside of the area, Philadelphia, Harrisburg, the Mid-Atlantic region, they started canceling plans because the roads were so bad. And as they started canceling, all the local people started calling and RSVPing that, hey, our plans changed, can we please come to your party? So I still had 350 people there. It was packed. I think it was the first time in the history of events in Lancaster that everyone showed up at 5 o'clock sharp. And that was a learning experience that I need to take with me to every event.
Well, you also had some live mannequins, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which was very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, the live statues came to be, the space where it was held was the Lancaster Quilt and Textile Museum. And that's such a grand, amazing, historic space. Very tall. And I was trying to figure out how I elevate, the decorations of the room. I did have relationships with florists, but I didn't want to go to them and say, okay, you need to build me centerpieces that are, 6 feet tall.
Right.
So I looked into what the building is actually Beaux-Arts. So I looked into what Beaux-Arts was all about, and I saw that one of the key elements of Beaux-Arts was statuary. And I thought, you know what? I can make this work.
Okay.
And then I created a relationship with Envy Studio, and they did hair and makeup of the living statues, and they came to be, and really turned out very well, if I say so myself.
It really was. We're going to take a quick look at what you did for, what is it, Sunworks, etc.?
Sunworks, etc.
All
yes.
right, and then we'll be right back. Check this out.
My name is Donald Blyler with Donald Blyler Events, and I'd like to welcome you to the Sunworks, etc. open house. Tonight's event's goals were to showcase Sunworks' new retail line, as well as highlight the new studio space. Welcome to the event, and I hope you have a great time.
Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We're talking about following your dream. We're here with Donald Blyler, and it's Donald Blyler Events. And we just saw a snippet of one of the events that you did, and we talked about your fabulous launch party. There's a lot that you have learned already in the short time that you've been doing this full time. What do you think is the biggest thing you've learned so far?
Probably the biggest thing I've learned would be to be flexible. And maybe even more so than that would be to not listen to self-doubt. One of the things that I believe can really stop somebody in their tracks from following their dreams is doubting yourself and not, believing in yourself and having the confidence to make it a success.
Okay. And I think what you said earlier in the other segment, how when you decided to do this, people were going, well, of course you should be doing this. You've been doing this ever since we've known you in some capacity, way,
Right.
shape, or form. And I think that rings true with a lot of people when we talk about following dreams. If you sit back and look at something you gravitate to naturally.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
and then see that.
Yeah, if I were giving someone advice as to, how do you follow your dreams, how do you know what your dreams are, I would say talk to the people that are closest to you, your social circle. My friends and family and people that I work with for years have been telling me, you should be doing events full time. I would do things, I made time outside of my career, I made time to do things for nonprofits, and I did private events for family and friends. But the nonprofit events that I did, people constantly after the event were saying, you should be doing this full time. Like, well, how come this isn't your job? And I never really listened to that. And I think if you're going to move forward with your dreams, talk to your social circle and see what they think your dreams should be. And I'm not saying to let them create your dreams, but they're going to have an idea, probably more so than you do, about what you do really well.
Yeah. And then start taking those steps to put together what's your business plan and how you're going to go about doing this.
Right.
And I think we can't emphasize enough, too, surrounding yourself with a network of confidants and that sort of thing.
A supportive social circle and people who are there, and being able to take constructive criticism is also important. But yeah, being supported would be a huge element in being able to take that first step.
Yeah. Some of the first thing that you did something at MU42.
Correct.
What was that?
For Merrill Lynch, I did a cocktail mixer for one of their financial planners. And that event we did in the Grand Salon at MU42, which is on North Prince Street in Lancaster, downtown Lancaster. And it really turned out very well, if I say so myself. My client was extremely pleased, and going up to it, I had such grander hopes of the attendance. And when we got to it, we had maybe about 35 guests, and my client was extremely pleased because she said, for a financial planning event, you really made it something that people would enjoy coming to. Still had an educational moment, still had a moment for her to be, client and doing her job, but at the same time, people walked away saying, that was really special and we'd probably do it again.
That's good. Well, you cover so many different areas when it comes to special events. It's probably, somebody has the idea, come to you and you'll do it. So the sky's probably the limit with
Correct.
you. Like even with this golf outing.
Yeah, the golf outing was something that we had, Donald Blyler Events had created. Now, we didn't create the idea of golf outings, but we were going to do something in terms of the launch party in order to create people to spend the night, and we ended up putting it off until probably about 4 or 5 weeks later and having it benefit the Lancaster Heritage Center. And that was really a fun experience, had a great day on the course, and I believe everybody had a great time.
Yeah, that's very cool. What do you think really separates you and sets you apart from other people that do what you do?
I would say my attention to detail and my organization skills.
Okay.
When you're planning events, you really do need to consider plan A, plan B, plan C, and have all of them ready to go when the first ones don't work out. So I would say that's it. I would also say that the suppliers that I've partnered with and that I have relationships with, they're the people who have my back, and they make me doing my job well, they make it easy.
Yeah. Well, your positive attitude, I think everybody else
Thank
would
you.
also say, is something that you definitely have going for you through a lot of things too. Having supportive, like you're saying, relationships and partnership is really key, isn't it?
Extremely key, yeah. I, again, for the launch party, but that goes into all the events that I do, I build relationships with people that I know are dedicated. I know that they provide a quality service, and really that they're providing the caliber of experience that is the caliber experience of the event that I'm planning. So the relationships you have are extremely important.
What is the single-handedly coordinating an 18-month, 7-venue, 15-artist art exhibit throughout Central PA?
I was involved in a board a couple years ago and was sitting around a board meeting, and I, at the time, I still am involved in the arts community of Lancaster, but I was sitting around the table with the board members, and the organization was, they provided services to youth, and it was their 15th anniversary. So the board was saying, you know, we should get 15 artists to donate 15 pieces and do an art exhibit. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute, 15 artists each donate 15 pieces? And they all thought that was a great idea. And I was like, oh, you're crazy. You know, find one artist that's going to donate 15 pieces. So I said, why don't we scale it back? Let's do 15 artists. Each one donates a piece, and we'll do a premiere, and it'll be, you know, 15 years of the organization. Well, they said, okay, Don, great. You do it. And okay, I can do that. And then after I put my thumb on it, it ended up actually traveling throughout central Pennsylvania. It went to, I believe, 7 venues, and it ended in Philadelphia.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was really, that's one of the feathers in my cap that I'm really proud of.
That's very cool. It seems to be, when I talk to you, that there's no event too small or too large that you're not willing to take a stab at.
Right. I believe an event is anything that you have people getting together. So it could be an intimate New Year's Eve dinner in your home for, you know, 8 or 10 of your friends. It could be a fundraising event for 650. It could be a 3-day conference for work, team building for a corporation. Really anything where you have people and you want to have a good time. I think I'm your go-to guy.
Okay. And I believe, and I think I understand from what you do, that you can get as involved or larger scale, smaller scale?
I can get as involved as the client would like me to be. I'm finding as I'm doing more and more events that really for the best results, I need to be involved from point A to point B. There are often times that clients will come to me and they've already processed everything and really bring me on board more or less as a consultant. And while I'll do that, I think they've already, you know, they've already dotted their I's and crossed their T's. And I think at that point they just want me to, you know, kind of give my blessing that they've done the right thing.
Okay.
I would say, you know, to have me involved from the beginning is a good thing, but I can certainly come in at any point.
Okay. Now, do you have other people that work for you or work with you, or is it a subcontracting sort of basis, or how do you do this?
At this point, it's just me, and I think that is a benefit. The client, when they call, they get me. I'm the owner of the business. When they're on site, they're going to have me. I have people that would work for me if I need a larger team on the day of the event. But for now, it's just me, and I do look forward to a day that I have, you know, a larger staff and maybe even plan events around the world.
All right. And that's just a part of following this dream and just starting out and taking steps.
Right.
And being open to what comes your way.
Absolutely.
And with relationships.
The hard part was taking that first step, and that was a situation where I was in the car with a friend, and they kind of laid it on the table for me and told me, you know, less talk, more action. And at that point I decided it doesn't hurt to try, and I might as well jump in.
Yeah. And the moment that you did that,
everything changed. It was very positive. I felt a relief almost that that I was going to do something. And at the same time, you know, it took me to do the first couple of events from the point where I made the decision to move forward. I was really pleased that they turned out well, because that was something to help me have more confidence that I'm doing the right thing.
and that's what it's about. We're going to take a quick look at the event you did at the church.
Correct.
And then we'll be back with some final thoughts.
Hi, my name is Don Blyler with Donald Blyler Events. Tonight we're at the First Reformed Church of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and we're hosting a mixer that is going to highlight the church as a forward and progressive, hip place of worship in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. they've partnered with the Central Pennsylvania Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce in order to do tonight's mixer.
I'm glad that you're here tonight. I've had a chance to meet some of you, but not all of you. But I hope before we leave, I will have a chance to meet every one of you, to drink copious amounts of wine.
Some final thoughts on following your dream.
I would say if someone's going to try to follow their dream, that they want to definitely, have the confidence to believe in yourself and follow what your heart is telling you. At the same time, have the ability to ask for help, understand that you're not always right, and accept constructive criticisms and learn from those.
Thank you, and much success with your venture.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you to Flowers by Paulette for our beautiful flowers, and thank you for joining us. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, and remember, keep looking behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.